Hey there, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jamie, and we're your co-hosts for Two Clicks in a Pod.
Join us as we explore our missed times, stories, and memories due to divorce and a 1,000-mile separation.
I can't wait. You ready to get into it, Kev?
I am. Hey, Jamie, you think you're going to swear?
Oh, yeah. Consider yourselves warned.
It's on.
All right.
Okay, so get that going here. Feel naked without my headphones.
Me too. So I also want to wear them.
I know. Do you feel vulnerable?
No.
It's like
my ears are cold. Tell everybody my ears are cold.
I think we may
down here in the basement.
It is. This basement is cold. It's beautiful
yeah.
for that. So, all right.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do this. Should we start with the cheers?
Oh, heck yeah.
Heck yeah, in person.
Yep.
I love it.
Love you.
Love you. All right. So we are here, Pops and I together, for what we've been discussing for quite a while, our anticipated summertime vacation visit.
Short visit, but
yeah,
good
short
visit.
And quick, short and fast. Sometimes when you're dealing with two grandchildren, that's not a bad thing.
Nope. I don't know.
Quick doses of reality. So we are recording together for episode 8?
8, yep. Out of
the Two
mothership in Media, Pennsylvania.
the Two Click studio here in Wallingford, PA. Yeah. We're going to do a little different angle tonight, though. We're sitting here at the bar, the very rarely used bar in Mimi and Papa's basement, and hopefully we'll pull this off.
Yeah, no problem.
It's nice sitting here next to you, Dad.
That's perfect. It's nice. It's nice getting to use, your mom's and Dominic's basement here. So it's
right. It may get used. It may get used 2 more times this year.
Perfect.
Maybe. So we'll do it.
Yeah.
And all right. So we're gonna. I guess we'll fill everyone in on our weekend then. Let's do that for our catch up.
Sure. Catch up is started with a flight into the area on Thursday, and we rallied around the Idlewild bar, I guess, in Media, Pennsylvania, meeting up with brought Jamie into the picture. Suzanne came in on board as well. We were meeting with Michael McDevitt, who is one of my classmates at Walsingham Academy.
That we've been saying for a while now that we're going to try to make that happen, and we did.
We did.
An on-time arrival from Michael.
Yeah. Michael had the nickname Weasel. We talked about that.
We learned that. Yeah.
He was only with us for his senior year. His dad got transferred in to the area that we found out was ex-CIA is who he was working for.
The agency, as he said.
Yeah,
My dad works for the agency.
Yeah.
He lived all over. He said he had lived in, help me here, he lived in Turkey for a while, as well as he listed like 2 other places.
Yeah, it was like 3 and 4. It was just too many to even comprehend, but ended up.
Well, at one point he said his dad wanted to go to Saigon. Is that right?
That's true.
But that mom was going to have to live in another country in Asia because they couldn't be together at his post.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, no, because he said he's one of 7. Is that right?
Yes, one of 7.
One of 7, and mom basically said, yeah, no. And then that's what brought them then to Williamsburg, because when he turned down that post, the next option was bringing him then to Williamsburg.
Yep, that's a good point. Your memory there is better than mine.
Yeah, so, I went on that accord.
Which I don't remember. I know my father talked with him working at Yorktown, the Naval Weapons Station, that Camp Perry's just right there off of Colonial Williamsburg. It's pretty close to the actual Colonial Williamsburg. It's not far away at all. So
yeah.
I knew it was a base. He told us it was the largest airfield that
I don't remember
have.
That. Okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I didn't realize it was, it's probably gone through a number of different stations and headquarters for different agencies. As we learned, that's the cool term, agency.
I like saying agency.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
Well, can I tell you my two highlights from the meeting?
Yeah.
Number one, he walks in and important to note, you guys have not seen each other since your
20th reunion.
20th reunion.
Mhm.
Okay. You guys did go to Virginia Tech together, saw each other a little bit, sounded like freshman year, not so much after that. And then he was at the 20-year reunion, as were you. So it's been a while, because
Yep.
now you're looking at planning the
52nd.
what would be the 52nd. So quick math there is 32 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamie for the win.
Yeah.
But he came in and it was kind of one of these like, Kevin, and immediately he's like, you sure do look different. And I took that to mean from high school, almost like he didn't really. And then, but at that point when he said that, I had forgotten you guys had the 20th year reunion. So I took that to mean you look so different from how you looked in high school, which obviously I completely agree with. How much different do you think you look from your 20-year reunion, though?
I don't think that much. That was 1993, so
You still would have had the mustache.
I had the mustache. That's when I'd just gotten my helicopter pilot's license
All right.
and through that time frame. So
Hair would have been brown, not gray.
not totally gray.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
his hair was as well totally gray.
Yeah,
He was laughing and making fun that I had more hair than he did. Correct.
right. I mean, he seemed genuine. It was like a genuine reaction of, I took it like you look good. Is
Yeah.
how I took it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was a takeaway. And then learning he had 3 kids, of which his youngest, I believe, he said went to High Point University
Mm-hmm.
in North Carolina, which is where
His other 2 went to Tech.
his other 2 went to Virginia Tech. He said, my youngest went to High Point, kind of like after he's like, oh, High Point. I was like, which is where, my best friend Meredith went to college.
Sure.
And I told him, I said, to this day, Meredith's cap and gown picture is still on the banner that they use at High Point University for graduation. Huge.
Is it not on a billboard? Didn't she tell us it was on?
Yeah, it's like a billboard size banner, and
Yeah.
they still use it.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you saw that, that's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, it was great. We got some pictures with Michael
We
that
did.
we'll share.
Yep.
But it was a good happy hour.
Yep.
There
He
was an expensive happy hour.
Well, it wasn't that we drank a lot. It was just that the drinks were rather, they counted up by dollars versus quantity.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I had a couple of drinks.
I'd say we had 4 drinks apiece, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. 4 drinks apiece. And there was, Chris was there. Your husband was there.
Yeah, Chris came.
So
Suzanne was there. Me,
yeah.
you, and Michael.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Your friends showed up. So
Well, right. So then I guess we can segue. Well, Michael left. It was a nice meeting, nice happy hour.
and what surprised me is I figured what would have been just 60 minutes spent together chewing old stories, talking about the new reunion of what we were trying to get
excited
together.
about that, right?
Reunion here in the we kind of decided on the spring of 2025, which would
Oh,
be
okay, I missed that. All right.
I just don't think we have enough time to get it in at the end of 24 with holidays and things of that type. So
Right.
we tended to agree on that. But
Back in Williamsburg, we talked about how that made more sense.
there's
I agree with that.
most of them are here. I would venture
Yeah.
to say 60 to 70% of them are in the area,
East Coast, you mean?
East Coast area.
Virginia
But
area.
Virginia in total. So
Yeah, specifically, right?
and caught him up. I've made contact now. I think our running total is up to 32 of just interest and excited about it. So that's out of 58, which we've lost a few that have are deceased and have passed. So it looks like it's going to be a good number.
Which I had to use a calculator, but I did calculate that you're running at 61.5%
Oh wow!
of interest.
Look at you.
So I did that the other day when Dad was filling me in. I was like, wait a second, because I thought that was impressive. You said I had 32, and you were kind of like, so I'm about halfway. I'm like, no, if you had 58 and you're down some, you're well past halfway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And specifically, you're at 61.5%. So you're doing a great job. And Michael was very impressed with your diligence, by the way. I don't know if you picked up on that.
How many times did he tell complete strangers that he just actually met, Carl or Jess or everybody there that I was on a mission?
Well, I guess we'll jump to
He said this man is on a mission.
He
He's
did
on a
say
mission.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to. I had my local best friends had been out. Reese had a basketball game that night,
Mm-hmm.
which we didn't get to because we had made these plans. And in a bad parenting move, I didn't have the basketball game on the calendar, so I booked these plans, and we missed going to her basketball game.
Was she playing basketball?
Yeah, Reese did.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want you to be
Bummed out
when I did that.
Yeah.
But and Reese understood because she knew we were meeting up with Michael.
Mhm.
Anyway, so they, the Borelli's oldest, Cena is Reese's best friend, is on her team. They came to meet up with us with the Eastburns because Reese's team was playing the East Alley.
Oh.
Alley is Laura and Bill Eastburns are good friends as well. Their daughter.
Well, that makes sense why they all showed up at the same time.
Right. I didn't get to give you that backstory.
Yeah.
So the reason the Eastburns and the Borellis were both there was they came straight from the basketball game,
I see.
of which Allie's team won, for those who are interested.
I see.
Reese's team lost, but that's okay.
Had they heard that there was going to be 2 Walsingham Academy alumni there?
Well, I had told Jess, hey, Dad and I are meeting Michael, and she knew. She goes, oh, from the anticipated. I said, absolutely. We've been talking about that. So she knew, and they ended up coming up to meet us, and we had some drinks, and you guys got to meet them. And
yeah.
We just got to watch the kids stare at us from the table behind us like this, just hands on their face. Can we go?
Yeah.
Can we leave yet? We're so bored. There's nothing to do here.
But I think what's funny about that, you would think it could be a little bit awkward or a little bit, and even at the 20th year reunion, Michael made the mention of, you look different. And then I remember Richard Dean's kind of saying, man, hadn't seen me in forever.
Yeah.
And again, you have to look at the high school pictures to realize I was always the studious, the geek of the crowd, probably, but just,
well, you wore glasses.
Wore glasses,
and,
tried to blend my hair over top of my glasses.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll have to, I don't know if we put any pictures up on that.
I have a couple from you in high school. I mean, you look, well, even from the wedding pictures. I mean, I will say this about both you and Mom. Not that you were not attractive people, but I definitely think the two of you aged very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you became more attractive over time.
Well, yeah, it was.
Would you buy that?
Yeah.
Did things get easier as life went on?
I think I learned how to dress cool rather than dress just kind of what I had to be instructed to dress in.
Sure.
So that's what you get when you wear coat and tie for 12 years going through school.
Oh, that's cute.
So, yeah.
Well, anyway, so it was a good night. That was Thursday night. And then
it wasn't awkward. It was like we had been around each other for all our lives. Even it was funny when we found out that his office is here in media. Once we reconnected.
You mean you and Michael?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't awkward.
Yeah.
It was crazy because where he lives, where he lives is a 20-minute drive from us, but where he offices is, he said, oh, I'm in the Chesley. I'll go, yeah, my daughter's orthodontist. He's like, oh, yeah. I mean, he knew exactly where Reese's orthodontist office is. So he's here every day. And,
right.
Commercial real estate appraiser.
And, we kind of bombarded him with you and Suzanne and everybody else and Chris, and the kids were there, and he acted like he fit right in and had a good time. And, what was probably, I thought 60 minutes ended up being close to 2.5 hours. So
yeah, it was good. It was good.
Time.
It was a good.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Yes.
Thank you. It was a good happy hours.
Happy hours. That's right. Yep.
And our bill showed it.
Yes, it did. Yes,
Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
Thanks for covering that bill.
Yep. $100 an hour.
100. Round it up. Yeah.
But he's off to Carolina and going on his family vacation. So
to the Outer Banks.
Yep.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So it was good to hang out with Carl and Jess, and met Bill and Laura and the kids, and just a really tight knit group of people and friends you have there that are definitely
they're fun, right?
Good people.
Very good.
They are fun.
Yeah,
they are fun.
It's kind of like the summertime family. So we're lucky to have those friends, and I'm very grateful for what I call the village. Carl teased me about that. I said that the other day. We were going to, I can't remember if I told you, we went and saw Santana with Jess and Carl.
Oh, no.
Where we're going tonight for the concert. We went and saw Santana and the County Crows.
That was good.
Open for them.
How was County Crows?
I thought they were great.
Yeah.
My only critical feedback would be on his more popular songs, like Mr. Jones. It almost was like he tried a little too hard. Like he was really trying to pump the drama of it. And when the other song, And it's not that he
That's
sounded bad.
artistic impression. That's not drama.
But it was like you could tell he was trying to sell it. Like, I can still do this.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was fun. Oh, it was great. That night, I texted Kara. I was texting with the girls for whatever reason that night. And I said, I'm at Santana and Counting Crows. And Kara's response was, way to keep it current. And, I died. I thought that was great. I was like, what an asshole. But yeah, way to keeping it current. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. So we're walking into the venue for that show. And I said something like, it takes a village. We're doing this all together and it takes a village. Mm-hmm. And Carl just looks at me and goes, you sound like Hillary Clinton. And I said, well, I did not get that from Hillary Clinton. I said, my aunt actually says that quite a bit. And other people.
Yeah, when you're amongst friends.
Right. Like Aunt Leslie always, they literally say our village. That helped them with raising up Casey and all that. So, which they probably got from Hillary Clinton.
Maybe.
But me not being all that political, maybe. I didn't realize it. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it, but Carl immediately, it was great. We had a good laugh on that. So that was a little bit of I digressed a bit. But anyways, it's a good village. I'll say it again. I'm grateful for it. So that was Thursday. Friday, we get up. And what
did we do early Friday?
Well, Friday morning, you came with me to take Parker to his hockey lesson.
Oh, that's right.
Because you hadn't seen him skate in about a year.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
Yep. And Park's done a great job. His skills of his skating skills, his stick handling was very, very impressive. It's hard to, as you keep telling me, he's developing, and this was proof in the pudding. But got to meet his coach, Eric. Eric Nodal, who is really. When I saw this guy, I swear to God, on his skates, he's close to 8 feet tall.
He's tall.
Huge.
Well, when I talked to him after the lesson, and he's like, we're chatting, it's literally, I'm like this. I'm like, yeah, looks good.
I was trying to scale Park out there. I stacked 2 parks on top to get to where he was at. Yeah, that's crazy. But ex-player, now a coach, and where do they do? PNY
Sports Arena there in Westchester. And
so that is an amazing facility.
Very nice facility.
The back of the lounge and the ability to just oversee the ice and
the leather sofas.
Couch, the sofas.
Yeah.
They got meeting rooms up there.
Yeah.
It's a very, very
nice facility.
Very beneficial for those of us that get to watch the practice and not be in the middle of the practice.
Well, you don't have to be, as we say, on the ice, so to speak, so you can stay warm. And it's a beautiful facility, and they're actually under construction right now. So I know Eric's anxious to get that wrapped up. But good lesson. I'm glad y'all got to see him, and not that you got to see him play, but you got to, which sometimes is more fun to just watch.
This was more fun just watching, and better yet, seeing. There was one other the college student, 22-year-old that was out there practicing, and just how disciplined they are in. I have to say, there's a science behind a practice session, and just the discipline that they use and how to. One-on-one with themselves, increase their stick handling, be able to take repetitions, the bounce off board, or they hit the board number 1, then they put the obstacle in front of it, the little rebound stick number 2, and I never really, and I don't know why that surprised me, but with every sport comes a lot of training equipment, as we saw, and you mentioned it that. Yeah. These 2x4 rigged up, passed through the underside of a 4-inch opening was very impressive, very impressive. And then Park just, as we knew the day before, you telling me the last time he was playing, he got sick and threw.
Yeah, that's a story.
From
that was hard. Thursday. He threw up. Projectile vomited all over the ice. Just 5 minutes left of the lesson. Just lifted his helmet, throws up.
And the kid doesn't know how to stop. He said. Eric would say go when he would just go. It was very, very impressive. Yeah. And I know you're very, very enthusiastic in his development, and it's paying off.
So that's nice to hear that.
Yeah. Good to see.
As I say, it should be.
Money well spent.
I would say, Suzanne said something like, "Oh, Jamie, he looked And I said, well, Suzanne, he better look that good for what I'm
she
paying.
said, she goes, he looks like a pro.
He looks like a professional. And I'm like, well, not quite, but they've been working on stuff and he did look a lot better. So
Well, his skating, his body language looks more put
controlled.
together. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. He's a beautiful skater. So that was Friday morning.
Yeah, you told me he could be a figure skater from what the coach.
Well, they did say that. You know, one time his normal skating coach was on vacation, so she hooked me up with this guy, Michael, who was a professional ice skater to cover the lesson. And we were done, and he's like, he is a beautiful skater. And he's like, we would love to have him in figure skating. I was just like, it's never going to happen. But yes.
Well, he's got a little bun and a little bobo and all that kind of stuff. You look pretty good in some tights right now.
Yeah, he's got some good muscle.
Got some abs going on. Yeah.
He does. Boy's strong.
That's crazy. That's crazy at his age. 8 years old?
8 years old, all muscle.
Yep.
But that was Friday. What did we do Friday night? We went down to the Borelli's for the pasta party.
Oh, yeah. That was a lot of fun.
And just hung out, watched some Olympics. So that's what's going on. We're watching Olympics. We're loving the Olympics. We won't jump too much into that, but that is what we're doing right now.
Yep. Watch the Olympics, drink some wine.
Yeah. And then Saturday, we were up early for the swim meet.
Swim meet all day Saturday,
Reese
which that was
PR'd on all 3 events.
Yep.
Super excited to have Peepaw there for that. Suzanne.
She's just looking at her as well, just tall and lean and just how much she enjoys swimming. And she was so excited once she realized, as you have mentioned throughout the meet, it's not about racing the other competitor.
Race yourself.
It's about racing yourself in your time, because that's what develops, consistency and betterment of the same. So it was a lot of fun. I went through that, and growing up, my sisters swam a bunch, and just going to the events and going to the competitions, and that was a weekly ordeal, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were very familiar with it, I could tell.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good meet. She shaved 10 seconds off her butterfly time, 5 seconds off her breaststroke time, and 2 seconds off her freestyle time. So, she didn't, she placed 3rd in butterfly. She placed, second in butterfly, 3rd in breaststroke, and she did not place in freestyle. But,
and overall, she was number 6 out of 12 in butterfly.
Yes. Which she beat people that were in the faster heat.
That's correct.
So we were very proud of her. It wrapped up the season, and she's now amped up to swim into the fall and the winter. So we're going to hopefully keep that running. Yeah. It's good for her.
She really enjoys it. You can see it in her face. So
yeah, it was good.
She needs to stay with that.
So it was Saturday. And then tonight we've got what was the reason for the trip. We've got the Foreigner 6 show tonight there in Camden, New Jersey. I think it's called the Freedom Pavilion now. It's like all these places, it changes all the time.
It's an outdoor amphitheater, right?
Yeah. But we've got seats. We're not in the lawn, but this will be the kids, not their first concert, but their first big rock concert. Yeah. Like this. Yeah. We saw Will Dorado there at the Brooklyn Bowl, which was fantastic. Huge shout out to Will Dorado from Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're probably my favorite band right now.
Where's the Brooklyn Bowl?
Down there in the city, in the Fishtown area in Philadelphia.
Is that a franchise?
It is. They have one in Nashville. Remember I told you that? Because we had these tickets when we were there for spring break.
Well, I looked to go to get tickets at the Brooklyn Bowl. Only then we went to the first Nashville Sounds baseball game. Right. And the Brooklyn Bowl is just right there. And there's literally a bowl. Like here in Philly, the bowling alley is on the bottom floor. Same here. And then on the top floor is where the stage is. Right. But off the stage is a 3 or 4 lane alley that they will sell a VIP ticket for. Yeah. So you can bowl while you're listening to the show. Yeah. I've not been in that one. The only thing I saw from the outside is they even have an outdoor terrace that you can go up there and actually watch the ball game. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we don't have that being where we're at. But, what was funny is as soon as the band got on, and again, they're from Oklahoma, so they've got the accent. And the guy's like, can't say that I've ever played in a bowling alley before. It was great. I mean, it won't be his last. I'm sure. Probably not. But they're fantastic. It's one thing about country music; they go wherever they will. Well, they're not really country. No. They're like What's the name of the band? Will Dorado. Will Dorado out of Tulsa, and they're definitely more. I mean, I would say they're rock, but
maybe you would say indie rock. I mean, I don't really. We'll listen to them.
Okay.
When we leave here, I'll play them for you. They are really, really good.
How many are in that band?
There's the lead singer, the bassist, the guy on. Is he keyboards? I think they're a 3-man band.
Okay.
Which I have a lot of respect for three-man bands.
They were kind of that. It's like they have a country name, but they were
kind of, and they do some songs that are more twangy. Like they have a song called "Rebel to Rebel" that they end every show with, and it's definitely got a country vibe. They have a country vibe, but I wouldn't say they're country music.
Yeah.
They have a great shirt. Reese has this shirt. It says, "Will Dorado is an okay band." Get it?
Yeah,
for Oklahoma.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
it's a great shirt.
Yeah, that is cool.
So the Browlies came with us to that show, and all the kids got that T-shirt. Well, Parker got a different one. His has like a tiger on it. He's like, I want the one with the tiger on it. I'm like, whatever you want. Anyways, so that I don't know how I got to that point. Doesn't matter. But they're great.
We're going to go see John. We found out John Wade opens.
Which I don't know who that is.
John Wade is an English guy that actually started off. I got familiar with him when he was in his band called The Babies, which was a 80s band.
Okay.
Prior to that, he was actually he actually was the lead singer for Bad English, which is an English band. But Bad English was kind of in the same late 70s, early 80s of kind of like Bad Company and that time frame.
Okay.
So, but a great voice, a great singer. Just again, I'd be curious to see. I've seen some videos recently of just him going through the COVID years of not getting to play and then back out playing.
You don't even have to be curious. You know why?
I get to hear him.
Because
I know.
We're going to do it tonight.
Yeah. And then we have Styx.
Well, we think Foreigner and then Styx, right? Here's what I am the most excited about. I am going to air guitar the hell out of some Jukebox Hero tonight with Parker. I'm embarrassed Parker because he's, as much as he loves music, Reese gets super into it. Like Reese will dance she won't know half the songs, but she will dance the whole time. Mm-hmm. Parker will get very just observant. Mm-hmm. He watches and you'll be like, you like it? And he'll be like, yeah. But he's observing. So I'm sure we'll embarrass him if we do any of our air guitaring that we've done in the past.
Foreigner will not let us down. Suzanne and I saw them in Oklahoma a year ago at Choctaw.
Right.
Last June. Yeah. And we were telling you that there's only, I think, like 2 of the original band, but the new ensemble.
They cover it well, right?
They are phenomenal. Great lead singer, and I can't remember his name right now, but just good show. Mentioned to you that they brought out the high school choir, and they actually.
I know. I'm really hoping they do that with like an all black choir out of Philly would be amazing.
Yep.
What song is that they do that for? It's one of their. I would call
what love gives. Love gives.
It's like a monster ballad.
What love's about, or something.
I want to know what love is.
That's it. Yep.
I want you.
That's it.
Okay, so that's tonight.
It's a good choir,
yeah, you can see them in the robes. I can just see it. Yeah. I can just see my hips swaying.
Yeah, and I've never seen Styx, so
no, I mean, obviously
a big time Shaw fan, but we'll see how that goes.
That'll be good. I'm excited. So that's tonight, and then you're heading home tomorrow.
Headed home tomorrow morning, back to reality.
Yeah.
It's been a fun trip, and better yet, just a good break. So I always enjoy coming here. So.
Well, it's fun. We tried. What I would say we did well this visit is we didn't plan a whole lot other than the show. And you and Suzanne just kind of got to come into our life a little bit.
Yeah.
Like what a weekend is like. And
love the hockey day. Love actually swim day yesterday.
Yeah. It was good.
Good quality time.
Good quality time.
And that's what I love about, everybody says how, we get together a lot sometimes as a family, but quality time is obviously better. I feel, one-on-one, family to family. It's tough when everybody's here just because it's hard to share that time.
Share the time.
And again, there's never It's always sad to go home because you know that it's just like today. We kind of had a lackadaisical day, which I know we need. Obviously, Parker and Reese don't need a lackadaisical day, but we've got the rest of the day to go here before we'll be out here probably until 11:30 tonight.
Yeah, no, it's a long day, and we came here from having lunch and Parker was at the pool. We kind of we separated a little bit, but that's good. Eating out with Parker is just a fucking nightmare.
It is.
It's not fun.
It is.
And, when Michelle said, my neighbor Michelle, who's mom of one of Parker's best friends, said, hey, I'm going to head to the pool. I'm like, can Parker just go with you? And I said, I'm not going to make it to the pool where, Dad and I are going to record and we've got things going on, but I know he would love to go to the pool with Brandon. And she's like, yeah, send him. So that was not even a question. He's just not enjoyable. Well, as he was yesterday when we ate out after the swim meet,
Well, even at the swim meet, he's not really interested.
He's such a turd.
He's just hanging out. You would think he'd be running with his buddies off in the background, but all of his buddies are on the ice. They're not in the pool. So that's
right. And the one kid he does know was actually swimming. So, yeah, he's
he's just that age.
It's like I had to tell him yesterday when we were walking into lunch. I said, we've talked about this. I'm going to say it again. This family does not revolve around you.
Mm-hmm.
We are a family, and it revolves around, right now, 6 people, not one person.
Yeah, and what are you saying? What are you talking about, Mom?
He doesn't.
What are you talking about?
He doesn't say shit. He's just like, looks at me like, right. Because, spoiler alert, it does revolve around Parker. Who are we kidding? I mean, most of the time. But
what do you mean it doesn't revolve around me?
Most of the time. Yeah.
So then he's got to kind of act out just so it does revolve around him.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. So, anyway, so that's been the weekend. It's been a great visit. Loved having y'all here, and now we get to record face to face, which it'll be a while before we get to do that again. So, this is kind of fun.
I think that's no doubt.
No doubt.
Hopefully, it gets to be more to where we're face to face when we.
Well,
I get to retire here shortly. You get to just continue.
Wouldn't that be nice? So, wouldn't that be nice?
So maybe when all these sponsors just start dropping money at us here off this podcast, all will be good.
Hashtag Idlewild in Media PA. Yeah. Well, the other fun thing I'll segue us then to keep this train moving. Being here, you've also been able to see Mom again, which you saw her not that long ago. But we were preparing for what we wanted to talk about today, and you and I were talking the other day and both just kind of like have a little bit of a gap on timing. So we were able to grab Mom, help fill some of the gaps. So that was nice. We were, we just released out then episode 7, which touched on really what
led to,
and we're not going to really go into the details of literally the divorce and those, because it's not really all that important. Not that it's not important, but not more to say other than we talked about really what led to the final catalyst of the divorce. And we looked up, what do I have here? The actual divorce papers that we have is kind of fun. We have these right here.
Yeah. And those are actually categorized in my files as important documents.
In that file,
you've got to hang on to those. You have to hang on to those just to show. Well, if somebody were ever to question, did you resolve or dissolve that marriage? How many times have you been married, and do you have proof of dissolving all of those marriages?
So you have a couple of these now.
I've got a few of those.
So this, what I not liked, but what was interesting about reading this, obviously, these are so old, the paper's actually starting to yellow. And this is as posted on the back, divorce papers, which
mine says important just in the sky.
This is Stu's handwriting, which I think is funny, but he would probably have these in one of his many plastic bins. But anyways, these were signed on June 28th of 1984. Mm-hmm. So just for, I guess, timing purposes, I was born May of 1981. You guys divorced June of 84, making me just over 3 years old at the time of y'all getting divorced. And that's a question I hear a lot. Like, well, how old were you? And, like,
you still had no hair.
No hair. And I don't remember it, as I've said. So no memory, 3 years old. And, so we were tracking through the dates, and we thought what would be kind of the next monumental thing to talk about is just this podcast has been centered so much around how we missed out on so much because of our separation.
Yep.
And so the separation, I'll give the background on that a little bit, and then we said Dad would share his perspective of this story. But so this story relates to, as we're, moving from Dallas to the East Coast, specifically to Atlanta, Georgia. So little background, Dad meets Shelley, obviously, in 1984, probably. No, 80, I'm sorry, 83.
Well, I got to do the math there. No, it wasn't 82.
81. Dad meets Shelley not too long after I'm born, right?
1982.
Okay.
December of 82.
So Dad meets Shelley in 82. Dad and Shelley are married in May of 86. We track that down. Mom and Stu get married a month later in June of 86.
Yep.
Little background there that I learned today is that Stu had accepted a job transfer from Dallas to Atlanta, Georgia, and was living in Atlanta. And he and Mom were still dating long distance. And Mom said on a weekend visit that he actually proposed in the mountains between Georgia and North Carolina, which ironically is very close to where Julie's parents have a mountain house in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know where the mountains were because I bet it's very close.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they get engaged, and then they end up getting married in June of 86. And the timing of that goes that while Mom and Stu are on their honeymoon in Barbados, Shane and I are with you and Shelley back in Dallas.
Yep.
For Mom said it would have at least been a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because when you and I were talking the other day, you said, I just remember you were there, and then I was putting you in a car and you were gone. So the details are that we stayed with you during the honeymoon. Mom flies back to Atlanta from the honeymoon, gets in the Nissan Maxima, drives from Atlanta back to Dallas to pick Shane and I up from you and Shelley. And we get in the car and we leave. And that was the move for us to Atlanta, Georgia. And we were there for, what was the math of that? So Shane starts first grade in Atlanta and goes first, second, third. I go K through 2. So we're there for 3 school years in Atlanta. So I guess my question for you to share is, we had to work together to remember those details, but
we did. Yep, for sure. And kind of put the
timelines,
dotted the I's and crossed the T's with your mom here just a few minutes ago.
So what was, Mom had, I didn't know if you noticed that, but when Mom was telling us that she had tears in her eyes, and she said, that's probably one of the worst days of my life that I remember was when, can't remember just exactly how she said that, is when it
was hard. She said it was hard. Yeah, just very hard.
Not took us away, but when we left.
She said the same things that I've said, that it was very difficult, very hard, painful.
Yeah.
She said painful. And I've made that same statement. With pain, you tend to block all of that out, I think, maybe subconsciously or without conscious thought.
Yeah.
But my takeaway is just and we talked a little bit about this the other day, kind of got firmed up a few minutes ago with your mother, but just the fact that we were divorced in 84, June.
Right, June of 84.
June of 84. That shows together in that Mesquite time frame and area for 2 years thereafter, June of 86, moving away.
Yeah.
Being me married first in May, and shared the story of you guys coming to the wedding, a part of the wedding.
Yep.
Going into the reception of the wedding, knowing that was going to go on for an extended time frame beyond your bedtime.
Right.
Don Earnhardt, best friend, good friend, loads you and Shane up in the car and truck, it was, and drive you back to Mesquite. And
it's funny now we're talking about this. I do remember in later years talking about that night with Shelley, and I don't know why, But you did. You had to leave and drive us back.
Yeah, like the whole
And she
deal.
was very annoyed by that.
I'm sure. I'm sure she was.
And I'm
But we
wondering,
had no options at
but
that time.
but what Mom told us today is that we got dropped off to the apartment where we lived with Mom.
Right.
But for whatever reason, Mom was probably like, "Well, I'm not fucking picking them up."
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I guess
she was there.
It wasn't her responsibility either.
No, I know,
And,
but like,
and she wasn't sure of that. You know, my memory was I thought we took you back to the rent house that we were in, and I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
She
my
said,
memory.
she's like, "No, you came here."
And I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It's
to me.
now that we're talking through it, I do remember Shelly one time telling me that, just like that she was annoyed by that.
Yeah.
Which again, understandable. It's your wedding night and your room is taken off.
He's got to go.
Draw the kids.
And that trip was a half hour there and a half hour back.
Sure.
So gone for an hour.
But then but you did go back
Oh, yeah.
and you partied at the reception.
Yeah. Or finished whatever needed to be finished. Yes.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
yeah. And then essentially a month later,
Mom's doing the same.
Mom's, getting married, and we had the last, you stayed, I guess, the week, or she said at least a week. It might have been 10 days, you were there. And then, like you said, she flew back into Atlanta in order to grab a car and drive all the way to Texas to pick you guys up.
Yes.
And I just remember that morning, of you guys loading up in the car and off you went. And that was a very, very empty day, very empty moment of just knowing how crushed, I'm sure, in hearing her today, just a very difficult time for both of us.
Yeah. She said that Shane obviously took it a lot harder than I did. I mean, I said to both of y'all, I said, I don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
I do feel like I remember Shane, whether he actually remembers it or he remembers it through stories, but he has told me, like, I think remembering that and how sad he was. What do you remember of Shane that day? Or do you even remember, really?
Yeah, I remember that day and I think the thing that spurs that memory is the picture of him sitting on my motorcycle out in front of the curb when your mom rolls up and he wanted to sit on. Well, he knew the bike was out front because he loved, riding on that. Well, he loved being on his own bike, but he loved riding, behind or in front of that. And as you did, but you, like you say, you were younger at that time, but he was very devastated and very, and even to this day, we know that hurts him. Yeah. So, and I think to this day, sadly, as much as I feel we've gone through, you and I especially have gone through a lot of counseling in other avenues that will come forward in this, this podcast down the road. But that there was some forgiveness that I needed to go through, both with you and with him. And I don't know that, even though that was asked for and talked about, and Shane, I have to say, I honestly just don't even know where Shane is with all of that. So I know that in asking for forgiveness, he's said yes, that I understand and forgive, but yet there is still a missing link or a line that discontinues and then continues in that time frame of just, again, I'm sure abandonment feelings on his part of just his dad abandoning him or not being with his dad, and not that his life was not good thereafter. Stu was a great stepdad or a great father to you two, and I mean that's a blessing. But
but you and Shane were you two were a lot closer for many years than you and I were. For many years, where it for you, not that I never thought you didn't love me or anything like that, but it always just felt very obvious. It was all about you and Shane, because you shared so many things. You coached the soccer team and his motorcycle, like it, just a father and a son, just being able to relate more to a boy than to a girl. Is how it felt for me, and it felt that way for many years.
Yeah, and me being the firstborn, and the the start of our four siblings, my four siblings, with three girls, and he being the firstborn, being a blonde-headed boy, and
there's so many similarities.
And then you come along and being the first of of whatever girls we're going to follow, which but it's funny in that, because I always feel that, like I said, there's sometimes I just feel there's still a fence there that hasn't been totally knocked down, just in, I think, similarly as I feel with my dad. That I was always competing for my dad's approval. I've tried really hard to make Shane realize and understand that, number one, I love him. Number two, I'm proud of him. Number three, with where he started and where he's gotten to, working right alongside of me today. And I'm very proud of his development and growth through that, and the job that he's done for me. But there's still, those are just memories in the background that you just never, I don't feel, have just been totally resolved, or as we're resolving between you and I. And I'm sure he would love to have that same opportunity.
Well, maybe not.
Kick the tires and
Well, that's not right. I think, yes, I think he probably would. I mean, I will say that as much as you two were so close for so long, like, you and I are much more similar in so many ways. Shane is so much like Mom. He's very non-confrontational. He's easy. He is the one that everybody meets and everybody loves Shane. And I say that it's not in a negative way, a very positive way, but because I think I don't know that he would push for it, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think you'd have to say, I'd love to talk about this with you. I've been doing this with your sister, but I'd love to talk about this with you. I don't know that he would bring it up. And he'll be listening to this, so I'm sure we'll hear about it. But yeah, anyways, I know he has more of a memory of it than I do. Like I've said many times, I don't remember. I just don't remember any of it at all. I mean, even today, Mom said, and you'd forgotten this.
Yeah, I had.
But totally. She said that you made a tape to play in the car.
A cassette.
And I said, oh, like a mix, like knowing you, I was like, oh, like a mixtape of music, like our favorite hits. And Mom said, no, it was just your dad talking to you about how great this is going to be, and probably just selling it, like knowing we were going to be sad. And I said, well, I wonder where that tape is. Mm-hmm. And I doubt we even have that tape. Man, I'd love to have that tape.
Yeah, I would too, because I'm sure it was a recognition of being sad, a recognition of just, knowing that we were going to be apart, but we would never be apart for long, which I feel, to this day, I feel like I made a good stride and great efforts to make sure that any opportunity that we had of getting to you or you coming to us was going to happen, and did happen.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I get it from your brother's standpoint and from Shane's standpoint. And Shane is a great dad. And Shane,
he's a fantastic father.
Shane goes to all effort to be there for his kids, no matter what they want to do or where they want to go.
Yes.
And that's inspiring.
Agreed.
Knowing that he could have just opposite feelings of that, but he's doing a great job of showing to his children, how much
of a priority they are,
and how much he loves them, and they recognize that, they see that loud and clear.
Yeah.
And he's every one of his children just
Adore him.
adore him and think highly and want to be there with him.
Oh yeah.
And he's no different, I don't think, than I was probably with him at that age as he is with Tate, and expects everything to be, right and correct and work hard and get there, and, maybe a little softer on the girls. That's kind of natural. And Tate's of the right mentality and personality to just, make it happen. So I think I give him a lot of credit for that. And he has a firm belief in how he wants his son to be within that relationship of his sisters and, and his mother, and to be able to respect.
I think he is trying to raise a man, and that means something. I'm sure people will have a different definition of what that means. I know what I think that means to my brother, so I'm not going to say what that should mean for others, but that is very important to Shane. I think that he is raising a man, a responsible man, and yeah.
Yep.
And it's that's so much of that part of our life. I do think, again, in my own memories, I always just felt like I was kind of along for the ride. It was kind of the Dad and Shane show, and that was just fine because I adored my brother and I loved my dad, and I was fine with that. I was very close to Shelly. Shelly probably accommodated that quite a bit, being that she was a female and I was a little girl. But when we moved to Atlanta, it became longer stretches. I do remember that, and the times together as we've been leading up to saying it was fun. It was, in the sense that our times together were vacation times from school. It was typically winter holidays, spring breaks, and summers where you're doing fun things. And we did fun things. And, we talked a lot about that, but those are the memories I have, just that we were always together. And I did, I've laughed about this with Shelly in the past, talking about, we did a lot of camping, outdoor stuff. And I said, it was just awesome. It was just fun. It was easy. And she would joke, and she goes, well, it wasn't that easy. You guys had no idea what went into all of that. And the simple weekend camping trips. And I'm like, no. She goes, yeah, I would work for weeks for those trips and get ready for them. I'm like, well, we wouldn't have known it. We just had a great time, and that was what it was about. So
yeah, but I want you to realize this is that from 84 to 86, in those 2 years, which you were, 3 years old to 5 years old, basically.
Yeah.
And, I thought it was so funny and yet so cute that at 3 years old, you did not have a freaking lick of hair on your head. Number one. And it didn't bother you. It didn't bother me, but you were just, and again, the point there was so many times that I don't think you understand or realize that you would be in that truck, that Toyota pickup truck.
The red truck.
With me.
Okay.
And even after the Toyota truck, which actually came after the GMC pickup truck, but in the GMC pickup truck,
okay,
you would be in that truck with me, right? And this is when child seats weren't even a part of anybody's life, but right there at the center console, and it would be you and me. Shane was not in that truck all the time. I can't tell you where he was, but it would just be you and me. And we would go here, we would go there. I don't know if he was with his mom or if he was I have no idea, but you got carried around as a solo artist as much as you did a duet.
Mm.
And I don't think you do remember those times because you weren't going to stop me from going anywhere. So I just grabbed you and off we went.
Yeah.
So, and I was so fond of the fact that you didn't have to be with your mother and in a panic attack, that you were fine being with me.
Yeah.
And just, we had the best time no matter what we would do. And it wasn't doing a whole lot of anything, as, it was, we were in a house, we would go here, we would go there. And if I had to go and you wanted to go, you were right there in the middle of that daggone pickup truck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't remember those.
No.
And just how you were my girl.
Yeah.
And you know, as much as you know, as much as, you know, Shane was important in doing what he wanted to do and where he wanted to go, and, you know, with the soccer thing. And I know there's funny stories about the soccer and you being right there in the middle of the soccer field and taking a kick to the side of the head, knocking you off your feet just because you were running around the field. And, but it wasn't like you were left behind, is my point. It was, you were right there with me. And that's before, you know, Shelley becoming a stepmother to you. That was before all of that. There were, you know, you were in, there was a 50-50 deal going on in those 2 years of you being there, you know, in the house. And she was not living in the house at that time. She always lived on her own until we got married. So,
it would have just been the three of us.
It would have just been the three of us. And not that she wasn't there on the weekends or going on a camping trip or being a part of this or a part of that, or, just no, and that's what I want you to remember is that you may not remember it, but you were right. We were a tag team. We were not, you weren't I wasn't handing you off to your mother to take care of you so that Shane and I could go do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it was just the opposite.
Well, I don't remember that, but I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah, it's important to me because.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it could have been too, I was just so young. And, with Shane, I mean, he was my constant.
Yeah, had to be.
So much of what I have in my mind is related to him. Mm-hmm. So I think I probably did live a lot of my younger life looking through his eyes or his perspective, just because, he was that. He was the person that would be there regardless of the location changing.
Yeah, and he was the oldest one. He was your translator. He could kind of.
I mean, Mom said
show you the way.
At one point, she's like, "You two literally had like your own language that we didn't. No one really knew what you two were saying, almost. But not that like we had like problems, but no, I mean it's. I appreciate hearing that because even kids in the best scenarios, like they're not going to remember their life when they were 2. Like who remembers their life when they were 2?
Well, exactly.
So it's like however much do you hold in? I don't know, but
who did I remember in that time frame? I remember Carl, the guy in the basement of the apartment.
Yeah.
The guy that I feared,
Yeah, because the fear.
And I don't even know if I ever saw Carl, but I was scared to death of that guy.
Yeah, because the fear holds, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the point is, it was obviously a hard time for you. It was interesting, sitting here with Mom an hour ago to hear and to visibly see how hard it was for her. We talked about how recording this podcast, how it's affecting everyone. And Mom, I was teasing like, oh yeah, we've now made, so we've been successful, Dad. We've now made your mom cry and my mom cry. Mm-hmm. And Mom's like, well, I'm not crying because I'm upset. It's remembering just what were sad times. Like they were hard times. And, now we've all obviously found our way to the other side of it, but it doesn't take those memories away. So, but I did like hearing about the tape. I wish we had the tape.
Yeah, that would be awesome if we did have the tape. I think it's even funny knowing moving forward in my life every time, I say every time. It's just funny how tape has been somewhat instrumental throughout my life. When I say that, let me just kind of
like an actual physical tape.
A physical tape, whether it's a tape for a movie. I did a lot of movie tapes of shooting movies in high school,
okay.
or Super 8 movies. We did that for a project of staging a holdup downtown Williamsburg and shooting that from a balcony. And
Right.
tape has always been a part of it.
Okay.
Now this tape, it's a lost tape series. I wish I had, and then we went to college, and in English we could do something creative about it. And Edmund Green, another high school friend, and I were in the same English class, and we did a Super 8 movie about an Elton John song, Candle in the Wind,
Nice
and Love Lies Bleeding. But anyway, and then again, then we hear about this tape, and then when we heard about that tape, then I'm flashing forward on the swallowing the quarter story.
Oh,
and
great story.
Me apologizing to my mother about that occurrence, behavior, or whatever. And I couldn't pick up the phone and apologize to her, so I recorded it on a VHS tape.
Oh, did you?
Sent it to her.
Yeah.
So this is kind of strange. This whole tape thing is kind of coming full circle.
Always wanting to go back, you and I maybe, to being having an audio history of our life.
Yeah.
Wanting to be recorded.
Yeah.
Wanting it to be shared. Well, and you think about this. That's why when I asked Mom, I go, "Oh, like a mixtape?" Because in my generation, you made
I'm thinking the same thing.
you made mixtapes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So in the
exactly. When we saw that mixtape group in Nashville, I told you about that.
right.
That's what they did. They mixed tapes, sold the tapes, and that's how they became friends and formed this mixtapes band.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had my first car, the 1992 two-door white Honda Civic sunroof, love that car.
And
And
you
had
had to crank it open, or was it electric?
No, those were electric windows, baby.
No, even on the sunroof.
Oh yeah, electric.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah,
Man,
it was a good ride. And I didn't have a CD player when I first got. I had a tape player, so I had all these. We were making mixtapes. Friends of mine were making mixtapes to then take and listen to in the Civ.
Mm-hmm.
We named that car Shatheed.
Why?
Which, if you spell Shatheed, it spells shithead. I don't know. True. Because we were stupid. I don't know. So we would listen to all these mixtapes and Shatheed. And then I got the I believe it was a Pioneer CD player put in the car. Remember that back again, this would have been 1997.
Yep,
That was big time. You were putting in the stereos into the cars.
Aftermarket, yep.
Yes, thank you, aftermarket. And I got new speakers put in as well, by the way.
I remember
in the doors
that. I remember that.
And I had that. And then you were making the mixed CDs eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But the mixtapes were great.
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends in high school, guy friend, that was like, not like long story there.
The boyfriend, guy friend?
Yeah.
All guy friends are boyfriends.
Right.
Yeah.
At some point, usually.
Well,
Anyways,
they're friends that are boys.
For my birthday, I want to say it was my senior year of high school, he dropped off a mixtape of songs, obviously. And
love ballads, love songs.
Yes, basically and I was like, oh.
You want to know what love is.
I want you to show me. Anyways, so yeah, tapes are powerful, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's funny you mentioned that, though, when I talk about that mixtape group. They've got to be your age.
Well, it makes sense because that was a big time, like tapes and CDs. And then we were the era, the generation where then you started making the mixed CDs. I had a guy I went to high school with, so freaking smart. He was in IB with me. Remember, I did IB my freshman year, International Baccalaureate. Quit after freshman year.
She gave up on it the second year.
I was like, I need to have more social time. It takes way too much time, way too much studying.
Too much work.
Too much work. That was the beginning of the end for my educational career. But anyway, so I feel like he must have dropped out as well, though, because he was in my senior math class, and very, very smart guy. And he started, Dad, making mixed CDs and selling them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $10 a CD for 10 songs, so $1 a song. And he was just making, Ethan Fieldman, shout out to Ethan Fieldman, like genius. Kara and him are really good friends as well. And to this day, I'm like, what's he doing right now? Because he's got it. He went to University of Florida, which, we won't hold that against him. But yeah, just anywho, lots of things. And we can wrap this up. But
well, I'm coming up with quotes here because I said I was going to start writing this down. The things that we sometimes say that just kind of catch me by surprise. That we say, number one, too much work. That's a great T-shirt slogan.
Okay.
Number one, all boys are boyfriends.
All boys are boyfriends. All boyfriends are boyfriends.
All boyfriends are all boyfriends are boyfriends. Is that what I said? What did I say? I have to figure that out. Anyway.
You know what we can do?
What?
We can go back and listen to this.
Oh, no way. Can we do that? Man, we don't even have the physical tape, but we can still do that.
We don't even need physical tape anymore. It's amazing.
That's funny.
All right. Well, hey.
Well, I hope everybody's happy to look the side of our heads all night.
That's if
it's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
yeah.
But I mean, we have been normally staring in
at each other.
Today at each other, but staring at one another face to face.
But you know what?
We are in the Viking.
I'm so glad we got to do this face to face because of what you just shared, because that meant a lot to me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I want many of these things that we share mean a lot. They mean to me. So this is what we're doing it for, and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
So. And again, it kind of sets up the future. We've talked about this of just doing on location.
We do want to do more on location stuff, and hopefully we'll get to that. Yeah. We got to keep this thing going.
So we did a good job of planning out the rest of the year as well with our episodes. So
we did. We had just for the listeners. I'm sure you guys are all really worried about this, but we had a meeting. We had a 2 Clicks in a Pod meeting.
Yep.
What do we call it? Admin meeting? Doesn't matter.
Board meeting.
Members of the board right here.
It's very boring.
And we planned some things out, and we've got content scheduled through December and some fun ideas kicking for where we take this when we conclude. Well, I mean, our story isn't going to conclude, but when obviously we're looking to take you guys through to our life current time through another 6 months of some content and stories to share. And then we got some ideas cooking for what's next. So we're excited about that. But I'm not going to drop that just yet, which I guess we can segue. Should we segue over to Don't Be Shy this week?
Sure.
So we did, part of our admin meeting was we were getting ourselves organized and getting our administratively ready for this. And a big part of that is getting the feedback for the Don't Be Shy segment ready to go.
Yep.
Do you want me just to read these and you comment in, or what?
Sure.
Does that work
good.
for you?
Yep.
All right. So this was through this is through the website, which I want to reiterate again. We love all feedback. We would love it even more through the website. Again, that's 2clicksinapod.com. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a section to leave your feedback, submit a question, comment, whatever you'd like to do. You can also subscribe to get our what will become our weekly newsletter. So we're working on that, getting that rolling out here in the next week.
Yep.
So we got this through my lovely sister-in-law, Haley McClinnick. And this is great. This goes back to episode 3. A lot of good feedback we got, Dad, from your crawling story. It was a big hit. Okay, so I'm going to read this verbatim. I'm looking down because I'm reading it from Haley's message. So from Haley McClinnick, it says, though I don't believe attempting it could change Kevin's hand dominance to right side would have any effect on his reading comprehension, I do believe they were onto something making Kevin crawl reciprocally. When kids don't crawl correctly, they're all caps, STNR, which is primitive reflex, doesn't integrate and can cause difficulty with reading, writing, and gross motor skills. It doesn't sound like gross motor skills or writing were impacted by his inability to crawl correctly as a baby, but it's possible the reading could have. So having him crawl correctly helped to integrate his STNR fully. So I guess some background on Haley. Haley is a doctor of physical therapy. She is a physical therapist who specializes currently in pediatrics with children. So Haley sent this to me and basically was like, while it was funny as all get out, those nuns could have been onto something. Interestingly enough, another good story out of this, following episode 3, Grandma texted me, called me, said, I need to catch up with you on the crawling story. So I said, all right, I'm traveling out. I'll call you from the airport. So I call her from the airport. I'm sitting at a bar having some lunch and a drink. And I call Grandma and she's like, I just have to tell you, it really wasn't all that bad. Basically, she just is like, I promise you I was doing this because I thought it was for, to help your dad. I'm like, Grandma, it's all good. Like, it was just a good story. Don't worry. Nobody has been harmed by this. But she really wanted you to know that this had all good intentions, just so you're aware. But that made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, we talked about it as well.
Yeah, you and Grandma did. Okay.
Yeah. She was being too hard.
She didn't want that.
She didn't want me to feel like I was on the short bus.
Yeah, which we already said there were none of those at that time.
Yeah.
All right. Next feedback comes from my Aunt Cindy, who you talked about. I believe this was an episode.
So when we first moved to Virginia and going to the rent house and meeting the burgers.
So it would have also been from episode 3.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Aunt Cindy says, the girl across the street that you said was the hot girl. She said there was a hot girl that lived across the street, right? Okay. The girl across the street living next to the Burger family was Debbie Harrell.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad was a pharmacist who worked at the Williamsburg Professional Drugstore. She was my friend, and her Great Dane is the one who bit my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unusual because Great Danes are usually.
Yeah, she texted me another comment that.
Then she says there were 2 Great Danes.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't remember their names or Billy's sister's name. You're right. She was very cute, blonde hair, tall and thin. There's your type.
Yep.
Blonde, thin. I don't know that you've ever been that hung up on being tall, but
No.
blonde for sure. The Mustang was blue, and we sat in the back. It was a 2-door convertible.
There you go.
There you
I got
go.
a good memory. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So Meredith Iannucci, one of my best friends, writes and says, "Oh, this is a long one. God love her. I love you, Meredith." Okay, Meredith says, "Y'all, you are doing it!" Exclamation point, exclamation point. Congratulations. I'm so incredibly proud. You both took to heart our Girls Weekend Happy Hour sesh to follow through and turn your storytelling dreams into a reality. I'm impressed with your willingness to explore this podcasting journey together, but most of all, your desire to be open with each other. That speaks so much of the love and honor to each other to give one another safe space to share your experiences. Now, she also says, finding your content completely relevant right now as I'm leaning into single parenthood. I appreciate each of your perspectives as both a child of divorce and a single parent so that I can reflect when it comes time with my own children and considering their dad. I am trying so hard to co-parent, but I am also on a path of healing and recovery from a marriage that has ended. So that's really cool that we're helping Meredith with that. And then she says, lastly, I feel for y'all on the name thing. Meredith was hard, but my maiden name was McCoy, was butchered in many ways, pronunciation and spelling. McKay, McKee, McElroy, and then there was also McCoy, McKay, all these things. So just so many versions. I too adopted the spelling it out like Jamie still does with Edwards. I do that with Iannucci, but all that.
Oh my.
She also said she is waiting on her adoption papers from you and Suzanne. So last Girls Weekend in 2023, Dad and Suzanne said they were going to adopt Meredith, that she didn't need to worry, they would adopt her, and she's waiting on those papers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was the feedback from the most recent feedback from the episodes that have come. But we are about to launch episode 7 this coming week. And obviously, we would love to get more of your feedback. Please do so through the website or info@twoclicksandapod.com. You can also check us out on social through Facebook, Instagram, twoclicksandapod.com, or just 2 clicks at 2 clicks in a pod.
Yeah.
But we're there and we're waiting for it.
And YouTube. The way
Also,
you can subscribe and as well like.
Yes. So we want you to subscribe. We want you to like. We want you to follow all the things. By you doing that, that helps us, and we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. So for those of you that have been listening, but maybe you want to see what it's like to view Kevin and I as we do this thing, you can do so through YouTube at 2 Clicks in a Pod. So thank you all. Thank you for listening, And until next time, we'll see you.
See you.
Thank you for tuning in today. With so many podcasts out there, we are grateful you chose to spend your time with us.
And we'd love to hear from you. So send us your questions, comments, and feedback to info@twoclicksinapod.com, and we might feature your message in a future episode.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social and head over to our YouTube channel where you can watch the full episode live and in living color. You can find us at 2 Clicks in a Pod. That's 2, as in the number, clicks in a pod.
Well, James, until next time, love you.
Love you too, Daddy.